Hi Shmee, I'm Guys. No, that's definitely wrong. Start again. Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello to you. Welcome back to the channel where today it's the final spec of my Ford GT. So the other day I announced to you my colour scheme and we've put together a new render of the Ford Liquid Red finished with the special Alan Mann Racing gold stripes and wheels. I showed you the full process and reasoning behind why I've picked those two colours. But today, let's dive into more detail with the GT design spec box and run over all of the options that I'm choosing for my car, as well as later on heading to the paint shop to pick up the samples of the exact red and gold that are going to be on my very car so that I can physically hold them and see what they look like. So let's get started and run through some of the options. Please do excuse me for being just a tiny bit obsessive about the Ford GT, but it's been an awfully long wait, so you can imagine the anticipation has been building for years. In fact, it was about 3.5 years ago that I was in Detroit at NIAS, the North American International Auto Show, where they unveiled the new GT for the first time. About 15 minutes later, I was like, I really want one of those, but it was another 1.5 years until they opened the application process, another couple of months until allocations were distributed. I was lucky enough to get one. Fast forward another 2 years, and here we are with the design spec kit box, 6 months ahead of delivery of the actual car. They have this order window notification period. You receive the box, take a bit of time to spec it up, and then it's about 6 months while the car is built in Canada before it's delivered over here in the UK, where only a handful of them are going to arrive. So as you know from the previous video, I put together my new render, my attempt at a new render, not necessarily the best, but it gives you a feel for what this car is going to look like, and we'll see the colours together in more detail later on. But for the moment, let me just open this box back up so we can talk about some of these different options and run over them quickly as to what my car is going to be. So you do get this really lovely kit. It has to be said, we had a complete walkthrough of the whole thing. But to keep this story a little bit shorter, obviously you know the body paint colour is going to be Ford's Liquid Red. It's a tri-coat deep pearlescent metallic colour. I think it looks absolutely stunning. We'll see that out in the sunshine later on. There were 8 standard options for paint colours, 7 options for stripes. So my stripes from the other mould have been painted, and I'll pick them up in a short while. The interior was a big talking point, so you have a couple of different interior options. Let me just get all of these out in the background. You can see here the way they're presented, which is really nice. So we have dark energy. You have the standard interior, which is sort of a cloth-like interior finish without any carbon bits. For a whopping £28,600, you can upgrade to the Dark Energy upgrade. That is what I think I'm doing on this car. It is what I'm doing on this car because it gives you lots of Alcantara, so the IP, which is the instrument panel, the dashboard. You get carbon fibre parts inside the car, including the X-brace on the back of the seat headrest. You get the door sills in carbon fibre. It's a lot of money for some Alcantara and carbon fibre, but it really upgrades the inside of the car, and given the rarity of the car, the specialness of the car, and the value of the car, I didn't really want to go short on any options. I want a black interior because obviously with 2 strong colours on the outside, the red and the gold, it's important to have something that looks reasonable. If I introduced another colour, it might be a bit crazy. Maybe there would be a way of doing some bespoke things in the future. We'll have to watch this space to see what we can do, but Ford have quite a restrictive list of options, so to speak. It's very difficult to go outside of those options. For example, the stripe is an extended palette option. You can have extended palette paint, you can have extended palette stripes. It's about £15,000 to do an extended palette stripe, but I think, again, it's a car that's worth doing absolutely right. So there we have the interior. We've also got some wheel options. Now there are a couple of different wheel options. You have the regular wheel, which is a really cool design, and you have the carbon fibre wheel. How fun is it that you can play with these? Such a nerdy detail. The carbon fibre wheel design is very cool, and they have improved them now that if you do get a small bit of curbing or something, you can actually restore the wheel. But I kind of want the original ones because I want them to be painted gold. Now the factory won't do them gold. The factory will offer, I think it's silver, standard, or a stealthy colour, or black. So obviously I'm going to order the standard colour, no point in paying for a colour option, because when the car is delivered, the wheels are going to get painted. So the wheels will be painted to match the stripe in due course. I'll try and line it up in time for delivery, but we'll see what happens a little bit nearer. In addition to that, you can see behind you've got the, in this case, brake discs. The brake disc should still be silver ceramic brakes, but you can change the colour of the calipers. You can actually pop these out of the back and set them up how you want them. Given I've got red and gold, I'm going to do black calipers, the standard anodized black caliper. Do I have one of those somewhere? Probably lurking in one of these boxes. There are so many different options that I've got lying around in front of me here. Here we go. The standard silver wheel with the anodized black caliper. That is what it will be, because then it kind of blends in, disappears, and doesn't make things too in your face. So I wanted to go with that. Now, another particularly big option are the exterior parts around the car. So you have the front splitter, the diffuser, and the side skirts, which can be finished as standard in a painted finish, or you can opt to have them in carbon fibre, either with gloss or with satin. I'm going to go with satin carbon fibre. I really like satin. The interior parts are satin. It's looked very cool on cars that I've owned before, and I think it's a contrast against the brightness of the glossy paint, the bright colours, the eccentric colours that we have on the car. So satin carbon fibre for all of the exterior, the red with the gold stripes, the gold wheels with black calipers. That's the outside of it. The inside is the dark energy upgrade interior. Other options we have are a sports exhaust. Now, you can get a sports exhaust option for about £10,000, but what I'm going to do is order the car standard and then do it in the future, so I can experience the upgrade to the new exhaust in due course. So that will be an option down the line. On the interior, you also have the option for the 6-point harness mounting fixtures. So given that this is race car, given that I'm definitely going to drive it on a track day at some point, which maybe I should think twice about if you've seen the price that recent cars have gone for at auction, I should be very aware of what I'm actually driving here. But I want to have harnesses. I want it to feel like the race car. After all, it was built to go and race at Le Mans. It is a proper race car, and the road car is effectively the race car made road legal, as opposed to normally they go the other way and make a race car out of a road car. So I want the harnesses. That's, I think, £1,000 and a bit to have the mounting fixtures so that they can attach in different places. In the US, it's very complicated because you can't actually do that under US homologation rules or something like that. I don't know all the full details, so that wants to be done. And I think one of the last options is the titanium lug nuts. £1,000 for titanium lug nuts, just to reduce a tiny bit of the unsprung mass. Of course, you can reduce a bit more with the carbon wheels, but it would be criminal to get the carbon wheels and paint them gold. I couldn't see myself doing that. I think it would be ruin the point in having them, really. Part of it is the exposure of the finish around the outside. Complicatedly, you can't actually swap from normal wheels to carbon wheels because you have a different hub. The car is physically different for the different types of wheels, so I have to make that commitment up front, and there's no easy way to work out how down the line we could ever make that happen. So I think it's the normal wheels in the gold, so I can feel slightly less worried about the price of the wheels, because the carbon wheels are 15 grand as well, and they will match with the Alan Mann Racing livery. So if you've managed to follow this, we've got the car, which is £520,000, the liquid red is £5,000, the custom extended palette stripe is £15,000, the satin carbon on the exterior is £15,000, the interior upgrade is £28,600, the harnesses are £1,095, the lug nuts are £1,000, and I don't know if I've missed anything, but the total is £586,000 on the road, which is a very expensive car, but like I mentioned, it is so collectible and has such a special story. That is why I wanted to go and do it in this kind of colour scheme, one that pays tribute to a GT40 that raced back in the 60s from a British racing team with so many connections to my own garage, my own fleet, and you'll have to watch the other video to see a little bit more about that when I visited Alan Mann. But what we need to do right now is head over with this to the paint shop to go and find my little gold stripes so that we can put them on and see what they look like outdoors in daylight. One thing that I haven't talked about with the arrival of the GT is, if you think about it, the colours of the 3 Fords that are going to be in my garage at the end of this year. So we've got the 2 Focus RSs, the red edition in its bright race red, then we've got the Heritage edition in its bright teeth orange, and then the GT in the red and gold. And if you didn't know, gold is a variation on orange paint. So it kind of sits right in the middle between the two of them. We've got 3 cars in similar-ish colours, all at the same end of the colour spectrum, the same part of the rainbow, you could say. This is going to be quite different by that point. The orange one will be completely stock, but this by then will have all sorts of carbon parts. In fact, the next time you see it, the first modifications are going to be made to this very car, so stay tuned for that. But the 3 of them together should look pretty awesome. Anyway, for the moment, let's jump into the red edition, get on the roads today, building up the miles ever so steadily, and head over to pick up these paint samples. Small distraction or two along the way here, just stopped off at the Dorchester Hotel in London on the way to go to get the samples, and there is a LaFerrari and a Pagani Zonda 760, two very unique specs. They actually belong to the same person, but this LaF in a pearl white has blue carbon fibre, all the parts that you see around it are blue, and the Zonda is a reworked 760, ginormous wing on the back of it, aggression everywhere, blue carbon again all over that thing, the wide arches, just the shapes, fully dramatic craziness. I wonder how the GT would look alongside these two. Anyway, that was worth, I think, stopping, turning the camera on, and just seeing two epic hypercars side by side here. Okay then, here we go. It's time to take a look at these paint samples. I'm back in London, where unfortunately we do not have bright sunshine, but at least it's no longer raining. So I've brought the Focus RS along for its first ever clean and first visit to Posh Wash. It's now looking much better, but it also got me thinking, what about changing the wheels on this car, or painting these wheels to make them the same Alan Mann Racing gold that the Ford GT's wheels would be? What about that? I think it could be pretty cool and work very nicely against the race red. The only thing though, the forged wheels down here that are currently satin black, I would also have to paint the calipers, because gold wheels with silver calipers would not be the best combination. That is not a match made in heaven. They could go black, the same as the GT's, or maybe even a similar red to this colour. What about that? I think it would look kind of cool, so we'll investigate doing that. For now though, sitting on the driver's seat, we have the paint sample, the exact colours for the future Shmeemobile right here, the liquid red with the gold stripe. How cool does that look? This car is going to look absolutely nuts. I can't wait to see it in the sunlight, because these are both very similar kind of depth to the different colours, but they really shine brightly when they have bright light on them. In the dark, they have, as you can see, different tones depending how exactly I'm pointing it. The real car though is going to look phenomenal. I cannot wait for it, but there we have it. This is the colour scheme for the car. I'm trying to show you it in just about every light I possibly can right now. I think it's an absolute winner. I cannot wait, really and truly. That is going to be absolutely incredible. Look at it in the darker light as well. Look at the way that colour has so much depth to it. Love it! So here we have just a spray out of the gold straight up that I need to send to get it matched. But that's the Alan Mann Racing Gold, the historical traditional colour that is going to go onto the GT. So cool. I cannot wait for this. So there we have it. That's basically the entire spec, I think, now for the GT. It's going to be joining the two Focus RSs in the garage in due course. It's about 6 months away. I'll let you know a few more updates as the time goes by and as we get a little bit closer. But for now, let's jump in the RS and head back home. It was inevitable that I'd find myself a matching car cover for the Focus RS, and this red cover comes from Richbrook, the same company as the wheel bags that I use for storing away my spare tyres. So the winter tyres or the summer tyres, depending which time of year it is, or the track tyres for the McLaren, those are all tucked away, and you can find the Richbrook covers, tyre bags, and more from them, as well as other automotive brands, in the new Shmee150 shop. If you haven't checked it out already, head to shop.shmee150.com. There's a link in the description down below, and over there you'll find plenty of products that have appeared in the different videos I've made to date, stuff that I use personally, and plenty more, so go over and have a look for sure. But today has been epic, finalising the spec, the colours of the GT. It's a big thanks to Alan Mann Racing for the opportunity to use their gold. It is so cool for me to make the car even more special by having a connection to a period race car, to a race team, to a British team, and all the other links that you saw and heard about in the first video that I made. Do let me know down below if you think the Focus RS should get some gold wheels ahead of the changed wheels. I think it'd be quite nice to almost trial the colour scheme before the GT arrives. On the topic of the GT, it's been a long wait so far, but only 6 months to go, and no doubt there'll be more content in the build-up to the car arriving. But 2019 is going to be absolutely epic. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for the trips in the GT. I just think this car is one of the pinnacles of the moment. There might also be something else on the horizon too, so watch this space. More on that coming very soon. Thank you very much for watching, guys. As always, I appreciate your support. Be sure to click the bell to turn on notifications for the latest videos. That is it for this time though. I will catch up with you again very soon. Cheers!